AJ Risky, reporting for Headbangers Australia. I've been lucky enough to interview the one and only Johannes Eckerström of AVATAR, a band known and loved worldwide, with a sound that isn't limited by genre, instead by passion and a need to create something new at every step. Please join us as we dig deeper into their styles and get to know Johannes a bit more behind the scenes. Well, having had the pleasure of sharing a backstage with you, I got to see a bit behind the curtain, and it inspired me because you had this seamless ability to balance all of the duties that come with the job. The moment you arrived, you were on the computer, you were straight into business, but then you were kind and courteous to us. You were very, very good to all of the production crew. You
I'm
made
glad to
time.
hear that.
Well, I mean, it was impressive because it
Mm.
wasn't just that, it was the performance and then time for the fans afterwards. You did everything and it didn't seem difficult at all. You made it all look so easy. How are you able to balance all of those duties?
Well, I guess there are a couple of different answers to that. Um, I would start with saying that I have had real jobs as well, and as tough as what we do sometimes can be, and it comes with its sacrifices and its risks, and there are things to it. It's still us getting to do exactly the thing we want to do. So, so if you keep that in your head, you learn to appreciate things, and that helps the mindset. Then about, I think sometimes when I hear like how nice we were and stuff, and again, I like hearing that, and I like to try to be, nice and stuff. Sometimes I wonder if not the bar is set very low for artists, where just some basic human decency and respect for people goes a very, very long way in that environment because of the position you're in those situations. Um, so I try to not behave any differently than I would if I wasn't there to do what I do. And um, and then there's also just a level of professionalism, I guess, in the sense of because life keeps happening and you have good days, you have bad days, you have things going on at home or you don't, or like and all of that, and to just not take it out on others, right? Especially your audience, your fans. Like it's never their fault if I had a crappy day leading up to their interaction. So um so there's also just putting in the effort, but I think it's pretty basic stuff at the end of the day. And I mean, okay, so the day you saw us there, we were pretty productive. It's from the sound of it, but I also like this is our lives, and we spend a lot of time on the road. So, and part of making that work mentally and everything is to treat it as your life and part of your life, and therefore make sure you have a life. We have done the tours where I was shit faced 39 days out of 42 and had a lot of fun doing it. There's a time and place for things in life.
Hmm.
Um, but now there are other things looking for, first and foremost, maybe staying in touch with the home base and having the life at home not always grind to a halt when you're gone and stuff. But then again, on some days on tour, you just have to, like you do also at home, you cannot seize every day and treat every day like it's your last. That's madness. Some days need to be
Hmm.
wasted away. Some days need to batteries need to be recharged. But I mean, we're pretty accustomed to the road nowadays, to say the least. So with that, you learn to just navigate life out there.
100%. And it was all of those little details that really impressed me the most. It really showed me something that I aspired to be. I mean, hell, part of the reason why I was so keen to do this interview is because I want to learn from
Hmm.
you. Um,
Well, I appreciate that.
no, like I was about to ask about the pressures of touring and how you balance family life with the hectic touring schedule, but
Well, one answer to that is also that you kind of don't. And the brutal truth is that your spouse will always get the short end of the stick, uh, you know, because you're the one who goes away and get to do your thing. And and I just think sometimes that musicians get to complain more about it than other people. You know, a lot of kids grew up with daddies who had to go to sea to earn a living. You know,
Mm.
there are a lot of jobs that pull family members away from home and stuff. But difference is that I get people applaud me at the end of my workday. You know, so I also feel like um, you can kind of humbly remember it's not really you who are having the hard time. There are people around you. So you make sacrifices, but you also sacrifice other people there. And so, number one, you have to find someone who's up for it, to have a thing going on that isn't just dependent on you, and someone who you can find some kind of synchronicity in that lifestyle.
Mm.
And that's an ongoing struggle and negotiation with yourself and within the band and with people around you and all that. So it's never perfect, but you try to do what you do with it. And now modern technology means, I mean, I have members in the band who, you know, depending on time zone, right, is always there FaceTiming the kids when they eat supper. So there are things we can do nowadays that we couldn't before, you know. And but for most of our touring lives, you know, we didn't tour in the 90s because I was in the fourth grade. Um, but there were different challenges that we have kind of technology has helped with now.
Fantastic. I mean, on the topic of family and home as well, I hear say from other, mega fans of yours that you have a dog and you are very fond of said dog.
Two dogs. Yeah.
Two dogs, fantastic.
Yeah. Both they complete each other in the sense that one of them really loves people but is quite reactive to other dogs, and the other one loves other dogs, quite reactive to people. So it's always something to bark at. Um,
Yep,
no, like you know, it's dogs. It's good. It's once you start to live with them, it's hard to imagine a life without them. You know.
absolutely. And I mean, I'm just stoked to find out you're a fellow Chihuahua owner. That's
Yeah.
fantastic. Um, Now about your music. Again, I've been following you guys since your like early death metal roots. Like I
Okay.
recall finding you when I was like what, 16? And
Okay.
I absolutely fell in love with the early stuff, but every album has evolved and grown in such a way that
Hmm.
it's just you managed to strike a very impressive balance of staying true to your roots while also consistently changing. So you've got
Hmm.
songs like The Dirt I'm Buried In, which is like leagues apart from Hail the Apocalypse. They both sound
Oh
like
yeah.
you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
what inspires all of these changes?
Um, I don't remember how long it is now, but at this point, it is pretty much forever that we say we never want to write the same song twice. So it's as simple as that. That's, you know, what's new to us, what's exciting to us, what haven't. There's a just really one of the goals with what we're doing is I want to learn something with every album. And part of it is, of course, the personal thing of putting together a piece of art, writing lyrics, like that self-expression, and hopefully if you try to manage to remove some layers of bullshit from yourself, you can get to know yourself and your understanding and place in the world better. There's that, the kind of big, lofty, spiritual, philosophical, whatever side of it. But then there's also just the wanting to come up and sing a melody that doesn't quite sound like the melody I sung on the last album, and those kind of things, and finding new ways of approaching what we do. So just the nerdy musical side of, oh, I learned a new trick. It goes all the way back to being a, you know, lifelong Beatles fan through my dad. And if you look through their catalog, really all the crazy changes, and so connected to that someone rolled in a new 4 track into the studio and Abbey Road, or they've met someone who showed them a way, you know, a fingering technique on the guitar, and then okay, I guess I go and write Blackbird now or Dear
Mhm.
Prudence or whatever. Like all these impulses immediately when you encounter something, you want to try to make it into your own. We have that mindset, a lot of it. And a big inspiration for it is also a lifelong Devin Townsend fan. And there's a man that I'm just as excited about the next thing he's going to do as I am about the stuff that I thought kicked so much ass when I was a teenager, because he lets things grow and evolve and change direction to where he feels it's most necessary to go. That very, when an artist has that very, I don't know what word to put on it, but like selfish side of their endeavor, I think makes for a greater chance that their next thing is their best thing. Whereas if you taste a lot of success very early on, which obviously we didn't, it's been growing very slowly and steadily through the years. Um, but you know, if everybody tells you that they love you and you're perfect when you're 22, I think psychologically it's kind of then harder to move on beyond that. And so, and but then it's kind of sad if all you can sing about are um, fast girls and cars or whatever you were into at the time,
Mm,
or you know, in metal, if it's was you know whatever satanic black metal thing you did, and then you have to be have the spiritual maturity of a 22-year-old for the rest of your existence in your art. There's that risk of falling into that trap that I think we never even had the opportunity to fall into that trap again because growth been slow and we had real jobs and all that.
mm.
But even without that, you can kind of define yourself around just a passing moment in time, because that's you learn now with every album. It just becomes this. You heard it being said before. These snapshots, these fleeting moments in time. That is just then and there. Your little photo album before moving on. Hopefully moving on. That hopefully life keeps on happening to you, and therefore other things become interesting. All of that. So that's the maturity side and growth and change side. But at the same time, there's still that thing that has been the same all the time, the just liking the sound of a Paul muted electric guitar going jung, 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 like that, being a basic metalhead also in it. And like, because that's what we always said about change. I also don't worry about we we are who we are. We sound the way we do, even if we don't have the talent to sound like anybody else. So let's do whatever the hell we want because we're stuck with, as long as we write it and we perform it, already that puts such a huge limitation on it that it's going to be Avatar kind of anyway. So many little sensibilities that you're maybe not even aware of in how you do things affects the outcome. So you said Hail the Apocalypse and The Dirt I'm Buried In. And if I would now stop and really take a closer look at those songs and choices we made, even if the outcome are, well, the main riff is quite, one has a little disco lick and one has this crazy
Mm.
whammy bar riff, but a lot of little things in our method of writing that spilled into both of them anyway, because we do things a certain way. But it's so, I don't know, it, all these things together means I don't really have to second guess things. Like we come up with ideas, we show each other, and whatever turns everyone on, that's Avatar right now. And that's
Yeah.
usually how it goes on a good day.
And like it's got this way of being both fresh and comforting, you know. It's like going home to a clean house. That's what every new album
Mhm.
that you
No, I
bring
like
out
that.
is like
Thank you.
for me.
I mean, lots of old school ideals in terms of what songwriting and a good song is to us. It's quite old school, but it's not retro. I think that distinction. Um, like I don't think we sound like, yeah, we don't sound retro, but there's certainly a basic idea of what's cool with heavy metal and stuff that kind of brings us forward. So on the best days, the ambition is, to help move the thing that we like forward, not just pay tribute to how it's been up until now.
I absolutely love to hear that. And one of the other things that I've absolutely loved is the way you treat B-sides and singles.
Mm,
So many bands will just drop a single from the album and that's it. But
mm,
some of my fondest listening experiences of Avatar is the quirky B-sides. Like, what was it?
yeah.
I've got something in my front pocket for you. Where did that come from, man? It's so good, but
I'm glad you like that one. Well, that came as a contractual obligation for bonus track versions, and us just having written a concept album, and and so there are no leftover songs because it's so self-contained. And it's also, you can't really write an appendix to the story. So that is what is, and they insist that they want this damn bonus version. Or like, well, where are you gonna put it? Well, it's only gonna be on this and that. Okay, cool. So I guess, and we love South Park.
of course.
And in the lore of the band is famously John laughed himself almost to death first time he saw that scene with Butters and everyone dying and stuff. He has a very sadistic, violent sense of humor in John, and so it's part of that song, and that scene is part of Avatar lore. So just a way to solve the fact that we had to put a bonus track, and then we kind of, as fun as it was, and as fun as the song is, and everything, still um, kind of pissed us off that then it was on every release and on every streaming platform. So it's this
Yeah,
weird. You end, you close with Sky Burial, and you done this thing, and everyone died, and it's sad and beautiful, and then comes that. It was supposed to be on, I don't know, a Japanese exclusive or something, and now it's everywhere.
yeah. And like, I mean, as a listener, I didn't feel like that necessarily detracted from the emotional weight of the album. I mean,
Yeah, no, this is an artist
incredible
perfectionist
album.
bullshit thing, of course, you know.
Yeah,
I
no,
also
I
didn't,
totally get
it's
that.
like how some early Blind Guardian album ends with Barbara Ann. You know, so, and as a fan, I'm perfectly fine with that. But from the inside, you're like, oh, damn it.
Do you mind if I hit you with five rapid fire questions before we wrap up?
Go ahead. Yeah, 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 absolutely.
Fantastic. So favorite thing about Australia when you visited last?
Um, Pointing at the Sydney Opera House and how it's built from Swedish material.
Hell yeah. Circus or forest?
Forest in my personal life, but you know, the circus I take with me wherever I go.
I like that answer. Favorite era of Avatar?
The next one.
That's a good answer. Worst tour stink?
Worst what?
Worst smell you've ever smelt on tour?
On tour. Waking up, finding out that the motorhome, the caravan is full of dog shit because Simon stepped in it bare feet when he went to bed and thought it was this tobacco thing, snus. He started to smear it off on the radiator and on the sheets because he thought it was just someone's tobacco spat outside of a bus. But it turned out all the dogs in Austria had taken a dump right outside of our door. So it was just smeared in like shit, like some insane asylum.
That's a fantastic answer. And final question, most punchable clown?
Probably me.
Hey, there's still
Well,
John
if you
Wayne
ask me, you
Gacy.
know.
We can smack him one.
Yeah, but oh yeah. I don't know if I like the idea that he is the same profession as I am in that sense though. So he lost his clown privileges. No, no, but I mean, if there's anyone I confront in my everyday life, is me. So, and I know a lot about my own flaws, so it's me.
My man. Well, thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure speaking to you
It
again.
was fun. Thank you.
Out of the shadows into the dark.